Huh. Not bad for a first video, huh? But I can do better than that. This is Akira Nishikiyama, the sworn brother of Kazuma Kiryu and the main antagonist of Yakuza KIWAMI. In the two games he appears in, Nishiki provides the story aspect of Kiryu's life, from him being the protective sworn brother, trying to protect him from any harm, to a man triggered by trauma and anger, climbing his way up to the top of the Tojo clan, ending in the Millennium Tower, fighting Kiryu, and then shooting the bomb planted near the 10 billion yen. He sacrifices himself to save Kiryu from being killed by Jingu. However, that is not the case. Nishiki is nowhere to be found. In fact, he was never there in the first place. Today, I'll be taking a look at what would happen if Akira Nishikiyama was never in Yakuza. A quick few things before we start. If you haven't seen my first video, maybe you should watch it first. But here's the rundown. This is based on my own opinions and theories, so if it sounds like something is off, just let me know about it. Also, shout out to the Yakuza Wiki for the information, and Devilian7 for cutscene footage and a couple of battle footage as well. Before Yakuza 0 even starts, we know a bit of information about Nishiki's past. He grew up in Sunflower Orphanage, run by Shintaro Kazama, growing up with Kiryu, Yumi, and his sister, Yuko. He then joins the Dojima family alongside Kiryu, doing so due to his gratitude for Kazuma and the Yakuza for paying for his sister's medical bills while ill. Nishiki first appears in Yakuza 0 after Kiryu beats up some thugs, in which they sing some karaoke, breaks the law, and then sees that the man Kiryu collected money from died. When they're with Kashiwagi, Nishiki tries to convince Kiryu to stay to avoid dying, but eventually has to reluctantly agree to drive to HQ to settle it. He then helps Kiryu find a new suit, goes to Serena, gets beaten the shit out of Awano, and then Nishiki is forced to join a manhunt for Kiryu. He saves Kiryu with his car, drives to the woods, intending to kill him. Unable to kill him, however, Kiryu takes his car, saying they are no longer sworn brothers. Flash forward a bit, Kiryu has Makoto, it's a long story, and runs into Nishiki, who is ordered by Dojima men to kill Kiryu, offering to give credit if he succeeds. He refuses, gets back with Kiryu, and helps as he and Kiryu try to save Tachibana. They don't. Then, some guy named Majima asks Nishiki where Kiryu and Makoto's location is, and they fight, with Nishiki getting absolutely shit on by Breaker style. Nishiki tells him, and there he goes. Nishikiyama then helps Kiryu fight the Dojima men in the end, helping Kiryu advance towards Shibusawa. The big part of this is near the end, where Kiryu is about to kill Shibusawa, thinking about all of the times that the Dojima family has hurt him and everyone else caused to the ones he loved. But Nishiki stops him. He tells Kiryu he can't cross that line yet, but if they must, they'll do it together. And then he gets him to stop. In the end, we see Kiryu and Nishiki together at Serena and in his car, driving in a circle for some reason, taking time to interact with each other. It's now 1995, in which Kiryu and Nishiki have now been part of the Dojima family for a while, with Kiryu soon to become the patriarch of his own family, and Nishiki, well, he's just Nishiki. Before that happens, Nishiki chases Dojima, who kidnapped Yumi. Nishiki shoots and kills him before something bad happens, with Kiryu taking the blame so that he can take care of his sister. Before the time skip to 2005, there is an actual storyline that happens while Kiryu is in jail, which was added in Yakuza KIWAMI. Shortly after, Nishiki overhears the Dojima men talking about the murder, with one claiming that the situation would not be as complicated if Nishiki was the one who shot him. Nishikiyama goes back to Serena to tell Reina what happened, with her being distraught about how he couldn't save them. Not being able to control anything, Nishiki slaps Reina, and shaken and unstable. Later, Nishiki gets news from Kashiwagi that he gets to start his own family, given soldiers provided from the Kazuma family, and being a reason for Kiryu to join the Tojo again after his sentence. However, this pushes Nishiki further. The new members showed obvious hatred towards him, especially one named Matsushige, stating that it would be different if it were Kiryu instead. Later on, Nishiki hears from a doctor that his sister needs a heart transplant, in which there would not be enough time. Nishiki asks for anything else, in which the doctor says he knows some sketchy people who can get a heart for 30 million yen. He agrees, and for some reason appoints Matsushige to get the money. Matsushige did get the money, but it was from the territory of Kashiwagi, which got Nishiki in trouble. Kashiwagi learns this, and he beats the absolute shit out of him. Kashiwagi forgives him afterwards, but says, this wouldn't happen if Kiryu was here. Nishiki then runs into Shimano, who tries to corrupt his mind into thinking the negative thoughts. Nishiki then goes back to his office, finding Matsushige with the money, saying that a doctor paid off his debt, which is how he got the money. Nishiki then identified the doctor as the same one as before, running to the hospital, but he disappeared. After he knows Yuko will eventually die, he sits in the front of her headstone, heartbroken, ready to end things. Before he could, Matsushige walks in and starts to mock him. Then Nishiki kills him with the knife, revealing to him that he was the one that killed Dojima. Oh god, no! He slicks his hair back with his blood, swearing to kill as many people to reach the top of the Tojo clan. Now we return to the main story, where after some time, when Kiryu gets out of the joint, he finally meets up with him after 10 years. He also shot Kazuma to trauma dump, I guess, but we'll get to that later. Nishikiyama actually explains that Mizuki, Yumi's supposed sister, died as an accident. During their conversation, he explains that a war in the Tojo will break out and gets into his head. This enrages Kiryu, and then he punches Nishiki. Before he leaves, he says Kazuma is still alive, and then reveals that he actually shot him, and that he's hiding with some random guy named Shinji, in which Nishikiyama was actually tracking him. The biggest thing is that he says he wishes that he could go back to the old days with Kiryu. He then orders his men to attack him, but of course, they're no match for the Dragon of Dojima. Reina is actually a mole for Nishiki, who would have thought, since she was in love with him and betrays her friends, but calls Nishiki to come to Serena to kill him. She fails and dies with that random guy named Shinji when they try to escape. Then in the final chapter, Nishiki reveals how he couldn't trust anyone anymore. He trauma dumps, revealing his jealousy to Kiryu, his killing of Kazuma, having to make betrayals and sacrifices. Nishiki and Kiryu then fight, with Kiryu eventually coming out on top. Suddenly, Jingu appears, shoots Kazuma, and kills Yumi. But before Jingu can shoot Kiryu, Nishiki stabs him into the vault containing the 10 billion yen. He then shoots the bomb that Yumi set up, exploding the vault and saving Kiryu and Haruka. Alright, now that we finished our little wrap up, let's start with our alternate timeline. So, Nishiki will not come get Kiryu after he beats up those thugs. Kiryu would probably go to karaoke, but would sing by himself, Baka Mitai. Instead of Judgment, probably. The big part is that without Nishiki, no one can even give any thought for Kiryu to change his mind about leaving the Tojo clan and takes a taxi straight to Dojima HQ. Kiryu will still wear his normal ass suit, Oda still gets shit on by Iwano, and Kiryu still gets put on a manhunt. However, Nishiki will never be there to save Kiryu, so let's assume that because of storyline reasons, Kiryu, being played by the player, barely escapes, not unscathed, but barely. Kiryu will still get Makoto, but no Nishiki to join him. But Kiryu still beats them up, goes to save Tachibana without Nishiki, and would probably survive due to the plot. Majima will not encounter Nishiki, so I'm guessing he goes mad and crazy, and then Reina tells him where Makoto is to calm him down from destroying Serena. Kiryu later goes to get Makoto from Shibusawa, and will probably survive since the player controls him. The most important part of this final bout is at the end, when Kiryu takes out all of his frustration against Shibusawa. Nishiki will never be there to stop him, and Kiryu goes crazy. This is exactly what people would wonder if Kiryu had that killer instinct. If he had been someone who always fought to hurt and kill, he crosses the line, killing Shibusawa, walking away from the scene. In the end, Kiryu will be with Reina and Serena with the first look at Yumi, with Kiryu drinking his sorrows away. He's back in the Yakuza with his name high above his head, ruthless as ever, but knowing he doesn't have much to lose. Now that I think about it, Yakuza 0 would have been so boring if Nishiki wasn't in it. My god, this game is gonna get changed a lot. So in Yakuza KIWAMI, Nishiki doesn't kill Dojima, and Dojima gets away with whatever he did. Kiryu finds out, beats the shit out of Dojima, and makes sure he doesn't do it again. With Kiryu not going to jail, he actually becomes the patriarch of his own family. Due to his reputation and ruthlessness, Kiryu gets his men from the Kazuma family, who actually respect who he is and what he does. Kiryu does everything right, often chilling at Serena, I guess. Kiryu is on track to become the Tojo chairman, but Dojima and Shimano are in the way. Because, you know, the dynamic duo, I guess. Serena gets killed by both of them instead of Nishiki, in a retaliation to Serena trying to figure out who will be the replacement of the Tojo clan. So then, Serena will get killed, obviously. And then, Kazuma and Kiryu will unite to fight both Shimano and Dojima. Oh my goodness. So after defeating them, Kazuma gets shot, dies, etc. Just like how Shimano... does he shoot him? I don't know. Anywho, all of this time, Haruka needs to find Yumi. They find her at Eris, and Kiryu still fights Junko. After winning, it isn't Nishiki who's there, but instead Dojima and Shimano, who intend to take the spot of chairman from Kiryu. After a long and grueling fight, Kiryu does not hold back. He knows if he doesn't kill them, they could hurt anyone he loves. So he does. He takes a gun, shoots Dojima straight in the face, and then looks at Shimano, who's nerve-wracking, who's knee-chilling, his body's cold. Kiryu, looking at him straight with that killer instinct, goes up to his face and absolutely beats the shit out of him. That's it. Dojima and Shimano are dead, and Kiryu, with blood on his hands, in front of Yumi and Haruka, tries to wipe them off and go back peacefully. However, it doesn't end well. Kiryu gets shot by Jinku, Yumi gets shot, and Kiryu is pointed at a gun at point blank range. But Kiryu knows what he has to do. Without no Nishiki, what happens? He uses the Komaki firearm flip to disarm Jingu, takes the gun, and shoots the bomb, and bang.
Skip it about and
Haruka? What happens to her? Thankfully though, we do have Majima and Saejima later. Or do we?